Hello, my name is Motecuzoma Sanchez, and today I'm sitting with a special guest in an exclusive interview she's reached out to 209 times to do. With me today is Natasha, the only known survivor of the serial killer that has been killing people in Stockton, one person in Oakland. She was actually the second victim, and she was shot on April 16th, 2021, 18 months ago, from the time that the police did a press conference announcing that there was a serial killer at work in our city. So I wanted to take the time, give you the opportunity to tell your story. First of all, happy to have you here.
Thank you, thank you.
And by that, I don't just mean here in the interview, but on this planet.
Right, thank you.
I think a lot of people would consider you a very lucky woman, although under unlucky circumstances, right?
Yeah.
But I think when they hear your story and the details of it, I think they'll have a clear picture of why I say that. So if you could, please tell us about yourself. Take us back to the night that you were encountered by this individual that shot you multiple times.
Okay, well, I was homeless at the time, and I was, a drug addict. I mean, I still am, but I'm recovered now. And I was in my normal everyday life. I went to my storage unit, and then I got dressed and changed, and then I went and bought a brand new sweater, and then I went over to Park and Union, the railroad tracks, a place where I always used to go, and it was about 2:30, 3:30 in the morning, and the train sound came, so I knew a train was going to be coming, and then. The train started to come towards me. I mean, I was on the side, and then a man came around the corner, or whoever came around the corner, and they already had the gun out, and they just started shooting.
At that moment, what caught your attention to turn around and see the person pointing a gun at you?
So I was standing sideways towards the bushes, away from traffic, and it's a one-way, and I heard like gravel. It was before the train was rolling, and so I turned and I said, "What the fuck?" I mean, and there was no words exchanged. Didn't say anything. Didn't come any closer. Just started shooting. I just saw flashes. I mean, and then knowing that it was either the moving train or like some ridiculous high ass fence that I couldn't even attempt to climb with no slats in the. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, and behind me an open field. So I ran towards him, knowing that I'd have to get closer to the street if I wanted to survive. And then as I did that, then he, got down like a movie star pose. You know what I mean? Because at first he was just holding it like a thug, and I was really hoping his aim was gonna be off, because he was like that. You know what I mean? And then as I went towards him, then he got down with two, and then it became my height.
Okay. So how would you describe the person that shot you?
I described him. Okay, so the same way that I described him to the police way back in April. Actually, the first time I spoke with the police was in May. So he had on dark-colored pants, not black, but dark-colored pants. I don't know if they were jeans or sweat material. He had an open hoodie that was either navy blue or black, and he had a COVID mask on that was worn like perfectly, and it went across the bridge of his nose right over here. I didn't see the ear part. And so the top part of the hood was like fitted, kind of, but then like loose. It looked like the damn Unabomber, man. It looked like the Unabomber, except for without the glasses. I mean, and the sweater was unzipped, so it looked like he just threw it on, like he was gonna go do something real quick. I mean, so if he was to run, then it would come off his head.
Okay. And you think he was a male?
I think he was a male.
About what height would you say, from your recollection?
I'm not sure. I mean, he was, taller than me, and I don't know, what am I? I'm 5'6", I think. He's taller than me.
So I'm 6 feet. Would you say my height, about my height? Shorter?
About your height.
Okay.
Yeah, about your height. But then when I went down like this, and then he went down, then we were the same height.
Okay.
So and then after that, like I fell to the ground, and the train was passing, you know what I mean? And I was about 50 yards in, and Can I tell the part about my grandmother's? Because that's what
Most
happened.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds crazy, but the truth is that my grandmother's voices, I didn't see them, you know what I mean? But because I wanted to lay down. I just wanted to go to sleep. I mean, there's a burning it's incredible. You're wet all over. You don't know why you're wet. But I was really happy that my legs moved. But every time I moved my legs, I was getting wetter and wetter, and I knew I was dying. You know, I mean, I was asking people for help that were there, not visible, but they were there because their camp was there.
They were there in their tents at the time along the fence line?
Yeah, further down, like another 50 yards down.
Okay.
But I don't suspect. I mean, you know, that they heard anything. But when a train leaves anywhere, any city, any town, it's dead silent. Mm-hmm. And they heard me asking for help, and they later on apologized. But so I fell down, and then my grandmother's their voices came, and I had my one grandmother, Marie Celestine. She had a house around Pilgrim Street for like 42 years, and I would go out of the bathroom, and I would see her in her room praying, and I'd look back and then kind of tease her and say, "Grandmother, you still praying?" And she'd say, "I pray for my children's children." It's the first thing I heard when I fell down.
So just to explain to our audience, when you say you heard your grandmother's voices, your grandmothers are no longer on earth, correct?
Correct. So they told me and then my mom's mom, which is like, you know, one of my favorite people in the whole world, she told me, you know, move, girl, move. So I crawled out to the street. The detective later told me that I was scooting on my back, because he's got a video. So I was scooting on my back, and I got to the street, and then I said, as clear as day, I know it's scary. You can keep yourself out of harm's way, but please call 911. I'm dying. And there was no response. And you know there's no response because you don't hear any sirens. And then the car, I mean, I positioned myself on the tracks because I was really contemplating whether I'd let a train hit me, or I mean, you don't know if this person's coming back. You know, I mean, and I remember feeling really bad because I know that that's a one-way coming from like the Food for Less area, which is like the only supermarket in that area.
Yes.
And so I had to position myself. There's like a little hump right there, and I had to position myself to where a car may hit me accidentally, and I don't want them to feel bad.
Wow.
Yeah, you know.
So how were you found? Was it by a car? I
didn't want to move my legs anymore, so I was moving my arm. And I was yelling and screaming for help, and like I said, I'm very familiar with the area. I knew nobody was going to hear me, and the people that were hearing me weren't responding, you know. And so I heard a car come by me, and I heard a woman say, you know, the fuck there's not, look. I mean, and then I heard like a door open or close, and then I can tell that they went down a distance, and I heard some man say, you know, I'm right here. I'm calling 911 for you, mija. Don't worry.
Okay.
So I mean, I must have been a Mexican.
Samaritan.
Must have been a Mexican.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
they
like,
thought you were Mexican.
Rolled through. They thought I was Mexican all the way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yes. I mean, whoever you are, thank you so much. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for that, because.
So that passerby with it sounds like a man and a woman.
I heard a female's voice. Yeah.
They saved your life by calling. Yeah,
definitely. And so while that's happening, and then I laid there, and then you know, the breaths became real short. You know, they became real short, and then it was just a few minutes later that the police were there, and then another train you know went by. When the police were there, I had enough oxygen to tell them, you know, that's my backpack. I didn't want the killer to get my backpack. You know, and I always knew that there was nothing personal because I didn't do anything to anybody. I mean, I didn't have an altercation. I don't roll like that. I don't have any problems, and so it was.
So it was completely unprovoked and a surprise.
Unprovoked. Ambush. No robbery. No words. No nothing. But the person was prepared. They didn't walk away. They didn't pull the gun out anywhere. It was already out. You know, when they dipped that corner, it was out, and it was pointed at me. I mean, and you know, and you're thinking like, what's going on? So, and then you expect for it to be embedded in other people to call 911 for you, and that's not embedded. So everybody, you know, you got to know that. They don't. And then after, I laid there in the middle of the street, and then I realized why I was there, why my grandmother's led me there. It was I had one more call left, you know, so I called Jesus. Man.
I know this is a super emotional experience for you, and I know when you reached out to 209 Times, you did so because you wanted to share your story.
Yeah.
And you wanted more people to know that you're a survivor. How many times were you shot?
The whole process, I never clearly knew because, you ask questions, you don't get any answers. I was literally cutting and pasting. I had to get my medical records and I had to cut and paste to find out what these procedures were. So I'd be like, in the motel room, like, laparoscopy, what the, and then cut and paste that. And I'm like, what? It was just, I didn't know what was happening. So, and I was told in the hospital that they took 7 bullets out. I'm sorry, six bullets out, and then one was removed from. One popped out of here. There's two bullets inside me, and then one right here. But then they told me that there were 7 bullets taken out. So I don't know.
Okay. So around 10 times, 9 to 10
nine,
times.
9 or 10 times. And this would so it'd be like 9 shots, and then this will be the graze. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the 9th. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But so after I had I called Jesus and then there's a burn. Anybody that's ever been shot, they know that it's a crazy burn. It's a burn that makes you sick. You could throw up and everything else. But all that pain was gone. I didn't hurt anymore. And I asked him to sit with me. I asked him to lay down with me. I told him I was dying. Like he didn't know. You know what I mean? And then I asked him to just never leave. And he never has.
So tell me about your recovery. So now you're in the hospital.
I'm in the hospital.
Wake up. Did you ever lose consciousness?
I'm sure I woke up 4 days later.
Okay.
From what I remember, and speaking to somebody, I woke up 4 days later. Now, whether I was up in between time, I don't know if I was awake, but I know that I was also withdrawing from drugs, 20 years worth of drugs. You know what I mean? So I woke up. There's a tube down my throat. There's my hands are tied. Your arms are tied down. That's how they do. And I wiggled my toes and wiggled my fingers, and then I smiled. And you start to recalculate what happened, and I had nightmares from that point on until I started working.
So tell us about your, in addition to your recovery, what was the response like from law enforcement? Take us through the process. Okay,
so when I woke up, like all the movies that we've all seen, that it doesn't work out like that. There was nobody there. They never came to visit me. This morning was the first time law enforcement ever came to see me and ever took a statement. I actually had to go to them when I had enough oxygen to get to them. The first time, and the detective, can I say his name?
Sure.
Detective Almanza, who is no longer, I understand, with the police department, which is rightfully so because he doesn't need to be a police officer.
So I know you sent us a copy of the police report.
Yes.
And there's some statements that they said you gave as far as the description of the shooter wearing a dark hoodie, and some other descriptors that you gave in there. Was that the night of or the time they were taking you to the hospital, or are you saying?
So the police officers, 2 of them showed up first, and I was on the ground, kind of
like on the scene.
Yeah, on the scene. They came before the EMTs,
okay.
And so I was like rolling. Not rolling around, but kind of like moving around because I was burning up hot. And I had asked one of them looked down at me, and he said, with this tone, what are you doing? And I said, I'm really hot. I'm trying to take this off, not remembering that I had a zipper on. And honestly, I didn't register why I was hot. I was just burning up hot. You just want to be like completely naked, you know what I mean? And so he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm trying to take this off. Can you help me? And his response was, we can't touch you.
Wow.
And he said it like I was trash, you know what I mean? And so I was thinking, okay, but you could put your knee on my neck.
So do you feel like you were treated a certain way because you were homeless at the time?
Yeah. But I didn't have time to feel that way because I was honestly, truly, I was consumed with the love of Jesus, really. And he took over. I just asked him. I said, please don't let my mother find my body here. And then I just, if I was to be given another chance, I promised to try to love myself a little bit more like you. Mm-hmm. And then when the ambulance came, I called my little boot sliders because I heard a boot come up and it slid next to me. And then I remember screaming one more time and then them saying, okay, we needed that. I guess for them to know what was hurting, and lift me up. And I was on the in the hospital, in the ambulance, thinking that I was going to die, and I was okay with that.
So you're saying that from the time you were shot on April 16th at 3:20 a.m. 2021 to this morning, that was the first time you've ever spoken to a detective since the actual shooting?
No, I spoke to them in May. Mind you, I called them.
Oh, May of 2021?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
But I called them. So I got out of the hospital. I was there from April 16th when it happened for 12 days. Okay, so I got out of the hospital, and then I immediately called the numbers that I had. I had a victim witness number, and then I never knew who the police officer was because inside of my bag that my uncle gave me, there was my police property were my pants that were ripped up, and in the bag was at the bottom of the bag there was a card from the police officer, and I still have the card. It was Field Officer Hayden, and so I thought of course that he was the detective, and no he wasn't, and they actually had to assign a detective, and they did that once I got to the office, and they assigned a detective for me, and so when I spoke with him he came out, I was able to get to him because he never came to my room when I asked him to come to the room I was staying at, the Stay in Suites. He never came to visit me, or to me. And I said, is this normal? Do you? And they go, well, no, what can you tell us about it? They basically treated me as if it was a drug deal gone bad, as if I knew something, that I wasn't sharing. And so throughout this process, throughout this whole, ever since April, ever since I got out of the hospital. It was a constant me trying to reach them. I've had the same number for over a year. I gave it to them when it changed, and when I reached out to you guys, I never gave you my address. But then all of a sudden today, they called me up when I'm at my mother-in-law's house, and they're saying that oh, we just left your house. We wanted to speak with you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't give you my address. Well, how'd they have my address?
No,
They've been having it for a year.
Wow.
I've been there for a year in the same place. The manager where I live, can attest to that. The numbers have been the same. I've written them down. It says number changed, and I write it down. The advocate has my number. They assisted me not at all. And then he told me that when I went down there again, they told me that to try to get my backpack because I wanted to get the key to my storage. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to have to pay for a storage lot. When you have it, and I met him 4 times, or I was supposed to meet him 4 times. He never showed up.
This was in May of 2021.
This is like throughout. This was in May. And this is in June. This is in July.
2021.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So then I was I recently tried to get a hold of them again for victim witness, mm-hmm. Because I thought I was going to have to move out of the building that I'm living in. And they never responded. And so what happened was I saw a cousin of mine. Had put up that there was a serial killer. I'm like, a serial killer, you know what I'm saying? And so, I looked.
This is now a year later.
Yeah.
Or that was in 2021 or just
No,
recently?
this is a few days ago.
Okay, so, yeah, we first announced there was a serial killer in Stockton 6 days ago.
Yeah. Okay, so this would be maybe 4 days ago.
Okay.
I said, I hit her up, what do you mean it's a serial killer? And she goes, look, and so I check it out, and then I said to myself, well, these are the same circumstances, and then and I always knew that I would have to fight for something. God was preparing me to do something, and I didn't know what it was. I've been trying to write about my experience, and then all of a sudden I got writer's block. And now I know why, because the story wasn't over yet. And so when I saw that you guys posted that, I said, what? I'm going to go to the police department on my next day off. I'm going to get a copy of the report, and I'm going to go back down there. Because now maybe you'll listen to me. I've been, sober this whole time. Mm-hmm. I've been, because I was, I may have, I got sober, 2 days on the 29th, but technically you can't say your sobriety date until it's like 2 days after your last intentional use. So it's May 1st of 2021. I've been sober since then.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and I was just basically treated like a drug addict. I was actually told, well, when you sober up, maybe when you get more sober, maybe you'll remember more things. And it was a constant, okay, well, there's no response at all, no communication.
And what were you told? What were you told back then that you mentioned that you were told something by the detective.
Okay, so Detective Almanza, he looked at me and he came out and he gave me the knuckles, and then he was like, "Congratulations, you fought for your life. I saw you, you made it." I said, "Thank you." And I said, "How'd you see me?" I said, "What do you mean you saw me?" And he said, "Well, I saw the video." I said, "What do you mean there's a video?" And I asked to see the video on several occasions. I asked to see the video up to 3 months ago from a therapist that I finally got, and I gave her a release of information so that she can contact victim witness, and so I was never able to see it, but I always wanted to see it. I said, that jog my memory. I mean, they never gave me a chance to see it. But he told me that there was he said, well, the gun is linked to a homicide in the East Bay. And I said, okay.
So this is the one now that they're announcing is linked. There's a homicide in Oakland.
So I told you. That information I've had. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so I always thought, well, that's odd. You know what I mean?
So when you were told that back in the spring of 2021 that you're
I was told that in June, because I had to have my ID. That's why I know it was June. I had to have
of 2022
2021. 2021.
So for over a year, they knew that your shooting, attempted murder, was linked to a murder in Oakland.
Yes, and which means so the first one here in Stockton, not the first attempt, but the first one here in Stockton in July. Right?
Of 22.
Of 22. That means that they've had this information and they didn't share it with the public. They didn't warn the public. So basically, I'm here. I mean, one of the reasons I'm here is, and one of the reasons I contacted you is because you busted it open. I figured that you'd help, let them know what's going on, and that basically 5 people died because they didn't listen to me.
Wow.
I mean, they didn't offer to. I told them other details that I shouldn't share right now.
Mm-hmm.
We discussed that.
We don't want to
compromise.
Just so the audience knows, there are certain details that we've agreed not to disclose for the sake of investigative integrity.
Yeah. But the knowledge of they knew. I mean, I didn't know that you knew. You know what I mean? And so when I said that, and then you asked me back, well, what do you know? What are you talking? You got to filter me out and figure out if I'm a weirdo or not. I mean, and then I'm like, well, yeah, that's. I mean, just as sure as you were on the phone, I was. I think I'm that person too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We knew there was a 7th victim, but we didn't know the circumstances, and we did not know it was an actual attempted murder where a person was shot essentially 9 or 10 times. That's something that my staff, they post homicides and attempted shootings on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. This is not something that I remember ever coming across.
No, I was going crazy looking for it. I mean,
it was never made public?
No, I asked him. I asked him. Are you guys gonna? I even asked the advocate, are you gonna say anything about this? I mean, there's people that are walking. This is this Food for Less. Mm-hmm. You're going to Food for Less. You're coming back and forth. I mean, and you think it's okay to walk right there. It's not. Yeah. People get shot for no reason. Mm-hmm. No, they never said anything to anybody. They just kept it. Which maybe that's why I thought maybe there must be some more people. Because they just kept it. And they just waited for me to tell my my truth, which was nothing. I don't know anything. I didn't know anything. Mm-hmm. I gave them the information. I tried to follow up on the case. They gave me nothing. They treated me like I was just some homeless drug addict that had nothing nothing to give, and they didn't know any kind of explanation.
So you feel like that they just at the time could not believe that somebody would just come up and randomly shoot you that many times for no reason? I
don't know if they believed it. I mean, or not. But what I do know, and what's been made very apparent, is they just didn't care.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest with you, it shows me it's kind of clear. It's painfully clear that they didn't care because it took you to bust it out.
So. Speaking of that, we made the announcement essentially 18 months after you were shot, and you were the first attempted victim mm-hmm. in Stockton. The mm-hmm. first homicide they've confirmed happened April 10th, 2021 in Oakland, and then 6 days later, the shooter attempted to take your life.
Yes.
So here we are 18 months later. Now it's national, international news.
And the PC code barely changed. I mean, I asked him today, I said, this aggravated assault was going to be changed to attempted homicide, right?
So they weren't even, so you were shot nearly 10 times and they weren't even trying to charged with attempted murder?
I went yesterday and I got I asked my wards where I needed an updated police report because I wanted to show you an updated one that wasn't wrinkled. And there was nothing changed on the report. It was still an aggravated assault. And so I contacted my sister and she does investigations with the California Department of Corrections. And I contacted her and I told her, hey, what's up with this? Why does it still say aggravated, assault? And then she goes, well, that's not right. And don't worry about that because the PC code's changed, but it's attempted murder. And I said, okay, so because I didn't want you to think that I'm coming with some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, they knew. I mean, and, they knew that it was linked to the other one. I mean, and so today I said to Investigator Cooper, is this going to be changed to attempted homicide? And he said, yeah, it's an attempted 187, whatever, So I mean, they're still not hearing me. And today was the first time I told them that nobody ever came to the hospital, to the bed. I mean, and asked me anything. It's there's no Columbo, no Elliot Ness, no Hitchcock at the end of the bed. Nothing. I mean, and then my calls were all unanswered. I mean, and my concerns were all avoided. I mean, and now there's 5 people dead.
Additional.
I mean, they didn't want to talk about. So who knows how many else is out there? They didn't want to talk about it.
So take us through the process of now you're seeing these more recent homicides occur, and are you kind of noticing similarities with your experience, or how did you come to the conclusion to say, you know what, I feel like my experience is part of this greater pattern?
Okay, so I saw your public announcement, and it was just you. I mean, it was, and you were saying that hey, this is what's going on, and you explained the circumstances, and then I got upset and I put a post on Facebook. These aren't new circumstances. They're not new. I mean, and then I had to pray on it. Because, I mean, let's face it, there's a serial killer out there, I mean, and I'm not dead. Mm-hmm. So I had to pray on that, I mean, but I knew that, I mean, it has to be told.
Yeah.
I mean, and so, and I knew that by coming to you, that you would let that be known. I mean, and add the 2 other people there. I mean, myself and the other victim, and I knew when I saw the image of the person from the back, even though I never seen their face, that was the person that tried to kill me. So
the person that's been released as the photograph,
yes,
and the video of the person of interest, you believe that is the person that shot you April 16th, 2021?
Well, that person is not changing their clothes for a year and a half. I mean,
what I mean is they look exactly what you remember.
I'm like, man, you don't want to get no new beanie, no
same
new
type of clothing, the same build, the same height,
same. I mean, you just same everything. Like he just came out of a. I mean, like, wait, and maybe he lives in a hole somewhere. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I don't know.
So I know there's been speculation on, 5 of the 7 victims have been Mexican men, and I know that we asked about that, right? And you yourself admitted that you think that it's possible that the killer could have mistaken you in the dark, right?
I get mistaken for being a. I mean, first of all, my hair was longer and it was in a braid, but I had a beanie on. I also had a hoodie on, and I also may have had my COVID mask on. But that being said, my complexion. I'm not. Maybe I had my COVID mask off because I think I was smoking a cigarette at that time. But the point. The point being is that I could easily be mistaken for a Mexican man at nighttime. I have been before. And my own, cousins will laugh, like, you Mexican, you know what I mean? And so that could easily, happen. I don't know if he's targeting just Mexican people or just targeting people that are homeless and recycling. I don't know.
We've confirmed at least 3 of the victims, and you as the survivor, so 2, and you're the 3rd, were homeless at the time of the shootings.
Yeah.
That's we've been able to confirm as from our indications, the other ones were not. So let's talk about where you're at now.
Okay.
What's going on with you now?
Well, now so I've continued to just let God guide me. Every day I give him everything. I'm just so I'm great. I don't want to get emotional again. You know what I mean?
I mean, feel free.
I mean, it's just,
people need. I feel this is a really important story for people to know, for you to tell,
yeah,
for people to hear, right? Because you are a 1 in a million. You're one of 7,
yeah,
right? You survived. 6 other people did not.
yeah.
And then you're 1 in a million to, regardless of this series of killings. I mean, it's not every day somebody survives being shot that many times.
Okay, so I'm first and foremost, I'm angry that there's 5 people that are dead after me. Mm-hmm. That angers me beyond how I was treated, because I feel like if they made it, that they still would have been treated the same way that I was treated. I mean, that's infuriating. Mm-hmm. You know, to be ignored and pushed aside, just like you're nothing. And if you didn't bring the story out, then and they survived, I'm convinced that they would have been treated that way. They didn't even want to admit that I was. And they're linked up. You know what I mean? So that being said, I'm sad about that. But where I'm at, in life, I've been sober since May 1st. I let God lead me every day. I'm here, but just by the grace of God, He saved me. Jesus is my best friend. I roll with Him. I'm employed full time. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned you pay rent now.
Yeah, I pay rent. I pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm growing my hair back. I had to cut my hair because I didn't have there was no medical help either. There was no psychological help. Jesus was everything. He was my counselor. He was he's just everything. When I asked Him not to leave, and to be where there was me, that's what He's done. And He promised me I wouldn't leave you.
And when you mentioned your lack of mobility, that now you're recovering, I remember you saying it took you like 10 months to even get access to physical therapy.
Yeah, so I learned, when I was asking God, like, okay, well, how do I do this? What do I do? Then, believe it or not, He knows about Google. So He, Google, and so I Googled doctors.
Is that why it starts with a G?
yeah, right? God got Google. So I Googled exercises for people that had a shot clavicle or broken clavicle and what to do with it. And so because I was letting it, what you don't do is you don't let it be stiff, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was able to work that out. And so by the time I got to therapy, it was just about, I think I went twice? I went two or three times for half an hour. And you could tell they were just trying to bill you. You know what I mean? And I was like, come on, I'm already past all this part. So it was just to get like a little bit of strength back, and for me to hear that, hey, can I move this however I want to? I don't have to be delicate with it. And they said, yeah. So I did. I'm not any kind of, I was having nightmares, so I had medication for nightmares. That's gone. I don't take medication for anxiety or depression. I'm completely 100% substance free, all by the grace of God. I have no cravings. It's all effortless. I cry a lot because I just get.
I can imagine you get emotional.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't like. As vulnerable as you ever want to be is to be shot in the middle of the street. Mm-hmm. And to find out that it's not the worst thing about it. Getting shot is not the worst thing. But I don't want to be on. I'm a tank now. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to cry in tank.
That's
what
your friends call you now, right?
We kind of made that up. Right. Tank instead of Tasha because
if anybody deserves that nickname, I think it's
Thank you. Yeah. Well, in July I had the car actually fell on me right here, and nothing broke. And I was like, God just got. The whole car was leaning on me right here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Changing the spare. And I was like, He just got me all the way around.
Okay.
So yeah, I work full time. I'm happy. I'm married to my best friend 30 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. When all this stuff happened, I had disconnected from my family because I wasn't I was doing what I was doing. You know what I mean? Mm. So I hadn't seen my mom in like 7 years. She's my everyday rock. You know what I mean? We're super close, almost as close as Jesus and I are. Yeah.
All right. How do you feel about now that a lot more has come to light in the media, both on our platform and now the mainstream media, national media? How do you feel now that you know more information and you're part of a bigger picture? How do you feel about the killer?
From the beginning of when I first got out of the hospital, I struggled because I felt like I was stabbing myself I was stabbing myself in the back because I found myself praying for this person. It would anger me. Mm-hmm. I would pray for him, you know what I mean, and I wanted them to have love and to, you know, and I truthfully, honestly, genuinely, 100% forgive the person who shot me. Mm. Because they, you know, I mean, I wanted them to know that, I mean, in a strange kind of way, they saved my life. You know, they were trying to destroy me, but they saved my life.
Well, that's definitely a, you know, interesting take on it.
I mean, I love the opportunity to tell them. I mean, if they would, you know, the God is also there for them, and if they, you know, you could just could all be behind them. You could turn yourself in. I mean, it sounds crazy. I mean, I'm not gonna turn myself in. You know, you could, you know, God is for everybody. I mean, he forgives. He's just, but he forgives.
Anything else you would like to tell the audience or leave them with? You have an amazing story, not just in under the circumstances of this serial killer case, but your survival and not just your survival, but also your recovery with even addiction and homelessness, right? So you have an amazing story.
Thank you.
Most definitely. Is there anything else you would like to share with anybody that might be listening right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you, I mean, I hate to say don't trust the police, but I mean, if you were in a situation to where, like, you know you've been homeless here in Stockton, and you got hurt, you got shot, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think you should come forward. Mm-hmm. I mean, and know that, I'm trying to speak for people that are, you know, that are no longer here.
So to pause that real fast, you actually think it's possible there may be more victims who have been shot, survived, but have not come forward?
No, and they're gonna get treated like shit. Mm. I mean, you know, that's a deterrent. You don't want to go. You don't want to go. I mean, I kept myself silent until God got me ready to where I was in a space to where I could, you know, speak. Mm. I mean, and not be, you know, treated that way. So I mean, I have no doubt that there's somebody that's been, you know, shot and either thought that because of their lifestyle that they deserved it, or knew that the police weren't going to do anything. They could have heard about me and know that, okay, well, no, they didn't do nothing for her. I mean, they were going to try to hide this, Motec. I mean, yeah. even as far as today. Mm-hmm. You know, lying saying that, you know, that, oh, I've been trying to get a hold of you. No, you haven't. I've had the same number. So I mean, what I have to tell, I would tell people that are listening, trust, you know, 209 times, and stay off that chief because he's tripping. Mm-hmm.
So do you feel you were victimized not only by the killer, but also in a secondary way by the system?
The system was the worst. I mean, I've said it plenty of times. I mean, I'd rather have gotten shot 10 more times than to ever deal with Stockton PD again.
Wow.
I mean, and that's not all the police officers. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not assuming that everybody knew. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's people on that force that, you know, that I mean, I'm sure are beautiful people that want to do their job.
So do you feel in you know, in the jaws of the system? Mm-hmm. You were kind of the ball was dropped.
Complete failure
in your case.
Complete failure, complete miscarriage of justice, complete failure.
So, do you feel like these are things that could definitely be fixed and improved?
Yes.
For if anybody in the future would go through a similar, God forbid, go through a similar situation?
Yeah, which is another reason why I'm here. I knew that I had to be. I had to get myself right and get that sobriety under my belt, mm-hmm. and get all that kind of stuff working so that I would be listened to, because I don't ever want it to happen to anybody else.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't happen to anybody else.
It was far worse than being shot.
Yeah. And as of today, there currently are 6 victims and 1 survivor, right? So let's hope that's the extent to which it goes, and this person is caught or turns himself in, as you would hope.
Yeah. Each and every one of those, each and every one of those victims, they meant something. You know, they're somebody's something.
Yeah, and I think it's important for you telling your story today, not just for the, amazing context of it.
Yeah.
But I think also to humanize the fact that these 6 other victims were individuals that mattered to their families, and that they were people as well.
I mean, I don't even know. They matter to me.
Yeah. I understand part of the system that you felt let you down as well was victims witness.
Yes.
There's supposed to be a fund. You applied for $2,000.
Well, what they do is that they part of their program, they give you they offer you counseling, they offer to pay your medical bills, they give you relocation fees if you relocation assistance, I'm sorry, up to $2,000 should you provide them with any kind of receipts that you may have used. You provide them with the reason why you need to leave. So I had to prove to the Stockton Police Department that it was in my best interest, whether it be physically or mentally, to move off of the streets and into a motel room so that they can reimburse me the $2,000.
Okay.
They weren't interested in trying to help me get that letter, and so then when I moved from there to where I currently live, I tried again. I mean, and they weren't interested in the victim witness, my advocate Andrea. You know, nothing. I mean, to the point to where she didn't communicate with me, to where I went in there 2 months ago and she didn't even know who the heck I was. I was right in front of her. She was like, Natasha, oh, it's you. I'm like, yeah, it's me.
Well, we thanks to a special donor.
Yeah.
Who desires to remain anonymous, right? We have a special gift for you that Mr. Frank Gallardo has generously facilitated.
Wow.
Natasha, we, on behalf of 209 Times, we cannot tell you in words how proud we are of Stocktonian Natasha Tank Latour. And God bless you. God bless you for having the courage to share your light and love and compassion and even forgiveness.
Yeah.
The things that you shared with us today were incredible. Motec and I have been having some private conversations with some people that we trust explicitly, and they decided to help us help you. Here's a little something you can open up right here for the camera.
Thank you.
And, I think we wanted to wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And you can
wow.
open that up too. You can read that.
On behalf of 209 Times, we want to thank you for your bravery and your commitment to the truth. You're a survivor and a role model for others seeking a better life. Please use this donated money to improve your life. And I can't finish that.
Yeah. We gonna take care of you.
Yeah, thank you.
What I mean? So the system may have failed you, but we're making sure to fill in that gap for you.
And I got bands.
That's for you for your
Thank you so much.
fees that you need to relocate. And
thank you so much. But just so you know, I have relocated.
Okay.
I mean, I'm off the. I'm going to be honest about that. I'm off the street.
That's what victims witness should have taken care of.
Yeah.
Thank you. Taken care of.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can I hug you?
Of course. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's awesome.
So that's really all I can think about.
Should I have done that? I'm sorry, should I have? I mean, I don't have bands. I'm getting rid of that. I'm walking up out of here with nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, thank you so much. You know, this is a very healing experience. I needed it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I got a little emotional. I didn't want to get that way, but you know, I mean.
I think a lot of people in our community do, and you know, including a person that's going around killing innocent people for no reason.
We gotta pray for them.
Natasha, when I heard that you didn't get the 2,000 from, the reason I kept asking, like, could you explain to me what victim witness was supposed to do?
Yeah.
And when I found out that if there was anybody deserving of this money, it was you.
Thank you.
So, made a couple of phone calls and made it happen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really she probably won't take it, but I really like to give it, to my mom. You know, I mean, she helped me out the whole entire way.
You
Yeah.
can do whatever you like.
Yeah. She'll tell me to pay my rent for a few months. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you could have a big turkey.
Of course, a huge turkey, a huge one.
Yeah.
A huge one.
All right. Well, Natasha, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much.
Again, congratulations on being a survivor.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
On
Thank you for
behalf
putting it out
of
there.
209 Times. We would like to thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
And I hope you inspire others. And it's definitely something that should be acknowledged and admired and celebrated. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And everybody stay safe. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Everybody stay safe. And we are all hoping this ordeal will come to a conclusion shortly without any additional pain being caused to the community. Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.